Everybody. Welcome to Café on Tampa Online. I'm Bill Carlson, and we've got a really special guest today, our second ever international guest. We said she was from Singapore. She's actually in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia today. Del, why don't you introduce her?
Thank you, Bill, and good morning to everybody in Café on Tampa land. Our guest speaker today is Murshidah Said, international speaker and business and life coach. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you are, and what time of day it is where you are.
Hi, thank you so much, Del, for the introduction, and thanks, Bill, for having me here. I'm so grateful that you have invited me, and I'm so happy to be here to share with all of you. It is right now exactly 8 p.m. I'm currently in Kuala Lumpur. I'm originally from Singapore, and I've lived in Kuala Lumpur permanently since 2006. So my work has brought me here. I created a business here in Kuala Lumpur, and you know, it's been wonderful.
So you have the sign behind you, love and respect, and that's kind of your motto. Tell us what that means to you and what the premise is.
Oh, okay. You know, the values of love and respect is so much, you know, very personal to me, because how I started my business was during the time of crisis as well. And that was back in 2006 when I came to Kuala Lumpur. I only had like 2 ringgit in my wallet, which is equivalent to 50 cents US. And at that time, you know, my husband got a job here, and he was supposed to support. And you know, when we arrived in Kuala Lumpur, you know, he was fired from his job, and we were not paid. And that was when, you know, I had to rethink of how I'm going to earn the income and all that. So during that time, there's a lot of things that went into my head. For example, like it's either I quit, I go back and give up, or go back to Singapore and all that. But because of this love that I felt for my family, my big why, that actually got me to 20,000 ringgit in less than 2 weeks. I managed to create, manifest, and found that a lot of things that I already have within me could actually turn into a business and turn to a value to other people. And I use that, and until now, this is exactly what I'm coaching people on and training people on, the values of love and respect. So powerful. When we tap into that, we can create so many amazing things in your life, manifest things in your life, and also help solve a lot of problems around you as well. The values of love and respect. And you know what, scientists said that, you know, love is the highest energy in the human being. People can do amazing things with so much when they're focused on love, right? And for example, a mom, you know, if the child is sick, the mother can stay up all night just taking care of the child, and the next day still run, go to work, do stuff, and it's because of that energy. So when we learn to tap on that values of love and respect and apply it, whether in your personal life, whether it's in business, and even in your business model, that's where the repercussions will happen. That's where a lot of changes and good things can happen in your life and in your community. And that's the basis of love and respect.
As a business coach, how would you start advising a group of small business people that have been infected by COVID-19 and have seen their sales dwindle or go down, and there's prospects for a cure, no one knows for sure. So how do you lift them up so they can continue to prosper?
Right. One of the things that I encourage is to be in community, because if you're alone, you're struggling by yourself, you don't have anyone to talk to, you don't have any support system, and that's where you know, that's where you get more alone, and you feel more you know, depressed, and you feel like there's not much support. But when you get into a community of people who are like-minded, who also want to support one another, that is the first step, right? Get into community, and also the right community. I have a community called the Leave a Legacy Conscious Business Community, and they're all conscious businesses who do good through their business and very supportive of one another. So that is one of the things. And what other things that I also encourage is to actually open up your mind to possibilities. How else can you create income? Because when you focus on things that you don't have, for example, you don't have the ability to move out outside freely anymore, what else can you do with the internet that you have? What else can you create? And these are things that you know, when I wanted to come out of my problems, I focused on things that I already have, things that I didn't realize that I could move around and create and sell, and other people are willing to pay for it. You know, things like this. What do you already have? And some examples that I've worked with some of the business owners, small business owners here in Malaysia and Singapore, is that I ask them this question: what do you have that you know people during this time would need? And that was one of the things. They start creating packages. They start looking into their computer. They look into their closet, and they find that they have some products. They have some things that they can package. And you know, some of them have managed to create like $2,000 within 1 month, just because of what they didn't see before. That things that they thought were useless, that they could repackage, they could sell. And this was something that worked well in the short run. Of course, you know, there are things that you got to do during COVID times to get your business sustainable in the long run. But if you gotta create some money, you gotta work on what you already, you know, pay the bills for that particular month. Look with what you already have. You know, focus on the strengths. Focus on how you can help others. And that, for me, when you have gratitude inside of you, you know, abundance starts opening up. You start to see opportunities, and that's how I work.
For anybody who's just tuning in, this is Murshidah Said. She is a friend of mine from Singapore from way back. We won't say how long ago, but you can see how she inspired me so long ago. She's one of the most positive, happy people I've met, and always tap into her to try to get a little bit of that positivity from her. But she's an internationally known speaker now. She happens to be in Kuala Lumpur right now, but she travels all over the place speaking. And we're talking about love and respect and motivating people. Tell us what else. You said you also work with refugees. What kind of work do you do with them? And what kind of refugees from where?
Yeah. Okay. When I first started in, you know, doing this one help one model in my business, where every training and every public speaking or any paid gigs that I have, I contribute to the training of homeless and marginalized communities here in Kuala Lumpur. 2015, there was an influx of refugees here in Kuala Lumpur because of the war. So it started with a lot of Syrian refugees initially, like about 150,000 that came in. And then now it's refugees in total is about 350,000 in Malaysia. There are people from Rohingya, there are people from Somalia, there are people from Yemen, there are people from Syria. And Myanmar also, not a big amount, but you know, there's the various refugees here in Malaysia from different communities. And when they arrive, they cannot speak the language, they don't know the culture, and they can't work, they can't find jobs, and that put them in a very vulnerable state. And there was a lot of poverty. And when we saw these numbers, we saw the problems. That's when you know, my husband and I, was also my business partner, we said that let's help this specific group of people. Now I would say the people who are in our beneficiary circle would be like 80% refugees, right? So they're from various countries, whether it's Somalia or Yemen or Syria or Palestine or Rohingya. They're varied. But what we focus on, again, is what skills do they already have? How can we empower them to be able to use whatever talents, or if they don't know yet, we kind of like, you know, see what they already know. For example, if they know basic English, or whether they know how to cook, or whether they know how to sew, they can do something. That is something that we work deep in, and also train them on how to start marketing and promoting them. And we build leaders, we identify leaders. And what I noticed is when we work with refugees on a whole, we started in 2015, where we started just feeding people and you know, doing big groups of training, but that didn't work. The impact was not much. We found that there's, out of, let's say, 300 people that we help, there's only 1 or 2 that was actually successful. So recently, I think about like 2017, 2 years after we studied the impact that we did, we started to focus and build leaders instead. So build leadership within the community. And from the leaders, we taught them on how to build their own communities, you know, like setting up communities within the community, so that nobody goes hungry. They support one another. Everybody can, in one way or another, they can pay their rent. They can, pay their medical bills and all that. So that's the impact I found was a lot more successful when we built the leaders within the refugee community to make them called refugee community, become refugee community leaders. And from there, that's where we saw there were bigger reduction in terms of hunger, in terms of poverty, in terms of people not being able to pay certain medical bills and not being able to pay rent. At least there were children who could go to some refugee schools. So that helped a lot when we started building leaders within the community. And it's all about empowering people. And just like when I work with business owners as well, or entrepreneurs, it's all about building communities where you support one another. Nobody goes hungry. That's when, instead of competition, you collaborate. And that's where when you collaborate, there will be more abundance, there will be more sharing, and nobody goes hungry. That helps a lot better in terms of, also personal empowerment and getting them out of their problems. And some of I love to share this as well, two people in our refugee community. One is a Yemeni lady. She came to Malaysia and she was, she left a very violent family environment. And she came to Malaysia with a 5-year-old son alone. She had only like 500 ringgit, which is like hardly, it was about $100 US. She came to Malaysia with that amount. And she started to do, she can cut hair. She started to do small things, small businesses and all that. And I identified her leadership qualities when I met her, because she wanted to volunteer. She wanted to help the poor people, she told me, and she could speak basic English. So she became my translator. And I built her up and coached her to step into her leadership qualities. And now even the ambassador visited her own home and said, wanted to learn how she managed to reach out and help more people in her community. She's like a leader in the community. All the people in the Yemeni community know her and respect her. And she even started her own home-based, small business, doing hair and makeup for the women in her community. And that is something that I'm very proud of. And another teenage boy, a Syrian teenage boy that we also coached to build his leadership. He's now a TEDx speaker. He runs his own volunteer network. He's he's been interviewed in all the mainstream news in terms of anything to do with refugee problems or causes. And he speaks English and Malay very, very, very well. And when he came to Malaysia, he had no knowledge of the languages at all. So those are things that when we identify leaders and we build them up, they can do so much within their own network and within their own communities. So that's what we've been doing.
You post the TEDx link underneath the Facebook feed so that people...
I will. Yeah. I don't know how to do that now though. I'll do that afterwards. Yeah.
Hey, for anybody listening right now, if you're watching live, thank you for watching. Please hit the share button and the like button. We do this as a free community service to help bring information to the public. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Murshidah, tell me how you, I knew you when you were like a college student. Tell me where you had this burst of positive energy, and how did you decide to turn it into a career?
Oh my God. How did I get into this? If you knew me back then, I was like, I was not like this. I would say I was just doing things with, go with the flow, and just like, I guess any college student at that time. I wasn't sure of what it is that I wanted to do. But again, I think it was because of the time when I faced crisis. That's why I say crisis in life is not a bad thing. It makes you turn into something that you are meant to do. And for me, how I stepped into my power was back in 2006 when, I said, I got to figure out in the shortest period of time so that I don't become homeless and I don't have to ask my family for money, because I wanted to do something on my own. I want to keep my family together. That thought itself, when I only had like 2 ringgit, which is like 50 cents in my wallet, and I'm like, I got to turn something around, that got me into that power. So that was when I realized, you know, when I was facing problems and challenges in my life, I noticed 2 types of people, Bill and Del. I found that there's a group of people who want to make your life more miserable when you're in trouble, you know, when you're not doing so well. They either, you know, they make things or make life or try to create more obstacles in your life. And I don't know, have you met people like that? No, I have, you know, or they say hurtful things that make it more difficult for you, you know. And there's another type of person that just wants to help you no matter what, and they don't ask for anything back in return. And I told myself at that time, when I was facing those challenges in my life, I told myself, when I come out of this, and I hope it was going to be the quickest time to get out of that challenge, is that I won't be that second type of person where I help others and I don't ask for anything back in return. And that has been my mantra, that has been my belief, and that is how that has been my, I would say, my push to what it is I'm doing right now. And it's fun, it's joyful, and it's, you know, and when I help others step into their power as well, and be able to give and do it joyfully and have fun with it, that makes it more, you know, yeah, it's good, it's funner. Yeah, you know, that's what life is all about. And that's when, you know, I would love to encourage people, instead of focusing on everybody else's faults or weaknesses or differences, why don't we all come together and find the strengths in each and every one of us, and how we can work together, collaborate together, and make the world a much better place, you know. And it's really joyful, and everybody wins.
Well, your enthusiasm is contagious. You're an international speaker. You speak English beautifully. If I was in where you are now, I wouldn't be able to speak in the native language. What is your primary language, or the first language you learned? How did you learn to speak English so well? And what advice would you give to many Americans who only know one language?
Pick up another language, you know. Well, I come from Singapore. So the national language in Singapore is Bahasa Melayu, it's Malay. And it is my mother tongue as well. So I speak both English and Malay at home. And in schools in Singapore, it's all English as the main medium. And we do have a second language that we take out, which is our mother tongue. So that's where, you know, we get to practice it quite, you know, quite often. So English is something that's in my communication and my writing, and that's my language. Yeah. So if anybody, I would recommend to, you know, if you can pick up another language, you know, the Syrian boy that I was talking about, when I met him, he was 15 years old. Now he's 20 already. When he was 15, he said that when he arrived in Malaysia, he could only speak one language, which is Arabic, right? And it took him a lot of YouTube videos to learn English, and he learned English and Malay, and he learned one word every day. And that was how he started to pick up. And now he speaks both languages, plus of course his native language, very fluently. So that could be something that, you know, you can try. Just pick up any language randomly and just do one language, one word a day, and yeah. And
so you talked about
talk to a native speaker.
You talked about dealing with negative people in this environment, especially in the United States right now. There's lots and lots of negativity. So how would you recommend that people use love and respect to turn somebody from being negative to positive?
Okay, you know, love is a more powerful energy than hate. Hate may look like, you know, oh, it's, you know, people can hit others with when they're angry or when they're in a negative state, but love is actually a more powerful energy. So when you focus on love, no matter what, when you radiate love in your heart, people can feel that, you know. So you don't return hate with hate, you return hate with love, right? So it's like you don't like when somebody says something negative and all that, you don't go and enhance and say, oh, let's, you know, go deep into that hate. You talk about, yeah, okay, whatever, you know, but you say thank you, that's a very interesting opinion, and that's it, you know. But focus on the good, focus on doing good, and do it with purpose. And that's why when I work with business owners, and I call them conscious business owners, is because you got to make profits, right? In your business, making it sustainable. So when you have those profits with purpose of helping people come out of poverty, that profits can be used to clean the environment. Those profits can be eliminating maybe child trafficking or child labor. That kind of, you know, the intention, and you do it through action, that is where real change happens. So it cannot take one person to do all the work. It takes a whole lot of us together, coming together, this community, the world community coming together and working together collaboratively. So whenever people are angry or spreading hate, we just don't give attention to that, but more doing more positive things that can actually add value to others. And then, you know, you might want to invite those haters along to join you on the journey as well, if they're willing to, you know, not be hateful.
You know, one topic I think on the international business community is climate change. That's something that no one country or one group of countries is going to be able to resolve. It's going to take all the nations of the world.
Absolutely.
Give us a little bit of your upbeat advice on how to go in that direction to begin to tackle climate change. I personally think it's a real thing.
Yeah, it is definitely real, and it's a talk in a lot of countries as well, and in the business community as well. I'm actually part of this ASEAN group of people, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. It is called ASEAN Alliance of Business and Responsible and Inclusive Business Alliance. It's called ARIBA, ASEAN Responsible and Inclusive Business Alliance. Yeah, that's the one. And 10 countries, all business owners doing good. One of the key things that we address is the topic of climate change and environmental protection. So us as business owners, whatever products we create is actually, and the way we create products or use the environment, we've got to make the environment better, cleaner, instead of making it worse off, right? So it is something that each and every one of us have to take radical responsibility. Even if you're not a business owner, you're an individual, you know, go be environment friendly. Yeah, there are a lot of ways that we can all join the green community as well. Reduce plastics, you know, recycle, all of those things. And it takes a habit and it takes a cultural change where everybody, when you are aware and you practice it, it's, you know, by the next generation, when we teach it to our children, it's going to be normal. It's not going to be normal to use plastic or, you know, not recycle. When we start to do this and educate the next generation now, and we take responsibility for it as well, that's where, you know, in the future, it's going to be normal to clean the environment and all that. But it takes awareness. It takes a change in habits and behavior, and also culture. Yeah, in order for us to take responsibility for this. And again, you know, love is bigger than hate. So people who are aware of this, educate those with love. We'll do this because this is good. This is not good. You know, if we do this, it's not going to be good for the environment, and the repercussions will be this. So why not we all do this? So when we educate, we show what is good, what is beneficial for the person, how we can add value to themselves and others. And people know that, you know, it can be instilled into their lifestyle and to their habits and behavior.
So in a couple weeks, the United States is going to have an election, and everyone's thinking that, most people are thinking that the election is going to be close. And so whatever happens, close to half the country is going to be upset and angry. Whoever wins, the other side will be upset and angry potentially. So then after that, we have our Thanksgiving and we have our other holidays. What advice do you have for us when we're sitting around with family members and friends who are angry about the results of the election? What should we do?
Oh my, don't get politics into your family love at all. You know, people have differences in opinion, you know. I have a daughter, you know, she came from me and my husband, and we can instill some things about, you know, values and all that, but she has her own mind. So everybody is bound to have their own perspective and their own interests or their own opinions. when it comes to family, focus on the thanks, the Thanksgiving. And that is what you should focus on, the love, the respecting maybe different opinions, but it takes a little bit more effort to try to influence people to get to your own perspective. So instead of doing that, why not respect the differences? But if you show by example, maybe the people who are, against you before might say, hey, that could be something there that I might agree with him on, So show by example, and don't, like, if you're with family, don't make things worse by bringing up things that you're going to argue about. So focus on commonalities, focus on the love, focus on gratitude, what you already have, the love that you have, the family that you have, and how can you help others with whatever results that you get with a leadership that obviously the majority choose. How can you do good with that result together? And that's how you unite people.
Del, you want to ask the last question?
Well, yes, it's kind of a question. You're an international speaker, and I know that you travel a lot. Of course, now with COVID-19, it's very limited. But next time you're in the United States, do you think you can make a tour to Tampa and come on live Café con Tampa where you can meet the community?
Yes, that's the answer. When the borders open, hopefully soon, Tampa will be one of the first places I'll go first.
Yeah,
I'll meet you, Del. I'll go and visit you.
She was supposed to be going to Miami in March, and then she was going to try to stop in Tampa on the way back, and then COVID-19 hit. Any other? We've got a couple more minutes. Any other thoughts, recommendations, inspiration for the day? And then also, if you have any websites or places you'd like us to go to for more information, more videos.
Well, my name is Murshidah Said. So if you go onto Facebook, you can just look me up, Murshidah Said. I have a page there. I have a personal page there. You can send me a message. I'll add you in. I have various communities depending on different people's interests as well that they can join and participate in a positive environment. Yeah, my message would be mainly three things, because to me, this is what constitutes love and respect. Number one is forgive daily, forgive people, every day, clear your heart out of, toxic emotions, anger, resentment, jealousy, or whatever. So forgive every day. Every morning, be grateful, right? Focus on gratitude. There's so much you can be grateful for. And especially if you have the internet with you right now, you are rich, you have enough, you can communicate, you can make money, you can do, you are not poor, okay, with the internet and the people on the internet. You can do something good with it. So be grateful, forgive. And the next one is giving. Continue giving, keep giving in your life, whatever you can give on a daily basis, whether it is money, if you have money, if not, a good word, smile, because whatever you give, that is what you will get back. All right. So these three things, that's what I want to share. And I hope everyone out there, if you want to have a community full of love and respect, do this daily. Focus on each other's strengths, how you can work together, not on the differences and the different opinions. Focus on what it is that you want to enhance and do better in your life and do good. And life should be fun and joyful.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, especially because it's nighttime there. And thank you for your friendship over many, many years, and look forward to seeing you in person. Take care.
Thank you so much, Bill and Del.
Bye.